Well, the big news this week, Nick, is that they announced the first inductees for the WWE Hall of Fame class for 2020.
Is this kind of early?
It is a little. It does feel a little early, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like
it
5 months till Mania. You know, we got a while.
Early, only like 4.5. Yeah. It seems like a ways away. So it is curious that it's this far out. I actually don't seem to recall off the top of my head when they typically announce people, but it does seem to be a lot closer to the event. So it is strange that they would announce people, especially one of the announcements. One I think people have been waiting for a while.
Right.
And I think after last year at WrestleMania, it does make a lot of sense. And that is Batista. Batista will be going into the Hall of Fame this year. And I think that between the fact that he retired last year after WrestleMania and had a major match at WrestleMania again, which really did feel like a kind of a closure for him and the Evolution storyline and him and Triple H and a lot of other stuff.
Except for the microphones that he used. They were not happy about his return.
No, they got a nice shower. But at this end, we were also treated to, I thought, a pretty gnarly match for two guys that are the age that Batista and Triple H are. Like, they went pretty hard on this match, even though it was what's the word for it? A very deliberate paced match. It was a very entertaining match, and I think that was a good way to go out for him, kind of on top wrestling-wise. Also, we've said for years that we were kind of surprised that WWE didn't capitalize on his fame more, because he did get pretty damn famous outside of WWE, and it seemed like a pretty easy opportunity to just, piggyback off of that. I believe this summer, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming out, if I'm not mistaken. So this seems to be a good time to stick that old Hall of Fame badge on him in the run-up to that movie. Maybe I don't have the Googles in front of me, so I can't tell you when that's coming out, if that's correct or not. But I'm making an assumption. If I turn on the Googles on my computer, my video feed goes to crap. So
I got you covered.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, so I don't know when that's coming out, but it seems like it's logical. Not only because of his
2022, not next summer.
Okay, that's a ways away. I guess that's what happened when you kick the director off of a project for tweets he made 20 years ago, whatever it was. But yeah, between his career and what he's done outside of WWE, which of course is always a factor, it makes sense that he would be an inductee into the Hall of Fame. Now, the other announcement, I think, is the one that has a lot of people scratching their heads, even though on the one hand, it seems like a no-brainer. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
That is, they have announced that this year a faction will be inducted, as they seem to do. They inducted DX last year, for example, which is relevant because this year they've announced they are inducting the NWO, which is, I think, inarguably one of the most important factions in the history of wrestling.
Agreed.
One of the foundations for the Monday Night Wars, one of the most important heel turns in history with Hulk Hogan turning heel. So many things that are monumental about the NWO changed the face of wrestling, and that's not hyperbole to say so. So that, on that aspect, makes total sense. They would go into the Hall of Fame. Here's the two questions coming, Nick, and this is what we're going to be chewing on here for a second.
Okay.
Is that, one, as we said, DX went in last year, and the Click has already gone in, as I believe. So NWO classically consisted of Hogan, Hall, and Nash. Originally, it was the outsiders coming into WCW and stirring up trouble, and that was Hall and Nash. And then they got their third man at Bash at the Beach with the amazing Hulk Hogan heel turn, and that was the formation of the official NWO. You can call this the NWO, brother. So Hogan, Hall, and Nash. Two of those guys have already been inducted on their own merits. Hogan's already been inducted on his own merits. He's also been disbarred from the Hall of Fame, and then because of his racist statements, and then brought back into the Hall of Fame July of 2018 very quietly, because obviously a lot of people were not ready for that. But yeah, no. So Hogan's totally back on the up and up again. And as I said, next year he will be in there as Mr. America. Not that he's Mr. America. I'm not saying that, of course. Mr. America is a completely different character, completely different person, not Hulk Hogan at all. We all know that, but he's still getting inducted next year. Here's the question. Why induct the NWO a year after inducting DX? A couple of years after inducting the Click? Why, when Hogan is still somewhat of a controversial figure? And the other major question is, why is it 4 people in the NWO getting inducted? The fourth being Shawn X-Pac Waltman, known as Syxx in WWE and WCW when he joined the NWO. Of course, the big question being, of course, why is he getting inducted as a member of NWO when you're not inducting everybody else who was a member of NWO, which of course was like the entire WCW roster at some point. Whether you have the LWO, the BWO, the Wolf Pack, right? All the different NWOs that there were. The fact also that Sean Waltman was called Syxx, SYXX. He was called Syxx because he was the 6th member drafted to NWO. First was Hall and Nash. Then Hogan was number 3. Ted DiBiase came in as Trillionaire Ted, who was their financier. It was a takeoff on Billionaire Ted Turner. 5th was the Giant, I believe. And then on the same show that Sting walked away because he was so mad that Lex Luger was questioning his loyalties, he walked away from everybody. On that same show, Sean Waltman came out as the 6th member of the NWO, followed by like everybody else for the next few months. I think Virgil or Vincent was next after him. So he's kind of like randomly stuck in there. And you look at who's in the clique, Sean Waltman, who's in DX, Sean Waltman, who's buddies with Triple H, Sean Waltman. Why is he getting inducted to NWO, not Ted DiBiase, not Big Show, not Virgil, or anybody else who was an NWO member? Why not Scott Steiner, besides the obvious reasons?
He couldn't do the math quiz to qualify.
He'd have to get past Triple H, and there's no way that man is getting past Triple H. We've seen how their arm wrestling contests go down. So that's the question, Nick. Why NWO right now, and why Sean Waltman?
I want to answer the first one first because I want to start with the positive. I do think there is a tick, regardless of the members that you choose, to induct a member or a faction into the Hall of Fame based on the impact that they had on the business. I think both D-Generation X had its impact during the Attitude Era. NWO definitely had an impact in WCW. And however it went on from there, it's weird to me. I don't want to talk about X-Pac yet, but that's the weird part to me. I think it is completely valid, as you so aptly said, that they are one of the most important factions in wrestling, professional wrestling history. Period. Yes. Hard stop.
Yes. Totally legit why they would go in.
The name NWO absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, regardless of the membership underneath that goes. So I want to be clear about that. Absolutely, they go in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
What the F is X-Pac doing getting inducted as part of NWO? He had F all to do with what made them foundational. Mm-hmm. And what made them such the most significant team in the history of wrestling.
Yep.
And that's where I'm befuddled.
It's freaking Dog Ziggler out right now. He is freaking Dog Ziggler out.
I'm sorry, I got a little bit heated, Dog Ziggler.
It's okay. It's getting Dog Ziggler worked up. It's okay, boy. Yes, we know that it makes literally no sense why X-Pac would be in this.
X-Pac even has go-away heat with Dog Ziggler.
He's got X-Pac heat with Dog Ziggler. What can I say? So this is the big question here, and I have seen people say, it's his reward for getting clean and sober, which legit, like they're rewarding Scott Hall as well, but even so, that does not explain why he would be going in with NWO.
Yeah,
like, okay, I mean, why not include everyone up to like the first 6 members then? Throw Big Show and DiBiase up there.
Sure.
Why not? Like, Giant was a big part of NWO when he was a member of it, and he was there longer. He was there longer than X-Pac was.
Ask 10 people who were the members of NWO, and at least 8 of them will tell you Hogan, Hall, Nash.
Well, just boom, boom, boom. Those 3. Why not just those 3? I guess is my question. Why not just those 3?
X-Pac ended up being known for being X-Pac in DX. He got in last year.
No one calls him Syxx. Some people even call him the 1, 2, 3 kid before they call him Syxx.
Exactly. Yeah.
666. So it is very bizarre. But that is the big news that Batista, NWO are going in. Here's the other question, I guess, Nick. The last question before we move on. Who's inducting him? We already know Batista has requested Fit Finlay induct him, which makes sense. Fit was a big part of Batista's early career.
Yep.
Even though everyone thinks it should be Devon. But who do you think should be inducting the NWO? That's the other question. Another thing I was going to throw in. Well, Bischoff. Bischoff wasn't in, like, you think of Bischoff, you think of the NWO.
Sure.
I can't believe I forgot about it for a second there. Bischoff. My God. Where's he in this? Does he is he persona non grata at WWE after his kind of failed attempt at being a general executive recently? Executive director recently? Does he induct them? If not him, then who?
Sting. I could see Sting doing it.
I could see Sting. It'd still be weird, but I could see
it would be weird, but I could see him doing it. He's still out there doing table for threes and backstage story interviews and stuff for the network, so he's still around. I could absolutely see Sting doing it.
AJ, Jeff Jarrett, and Sting. That was a good one.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. I did see that it went up though.
It's good. But that being said, this is always the time to ask whenever we talk about Hall of Fame, is why these guys, and why who should be in there before. Like Batista, NWO. Should anyone be going in there before them? Or is this are we like, okay, cool, that's fine. Those guys should be going in where they're at.
All the guys that I would have, and girls that I would have said should be in there are in there that I'm aware of without looking at the full list.
Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow, Macho Man, Sable.
Macho Man's the one that still sticks out. But yeah, I would put these guys in before. Vader's tough. I love Vader.
Yeah. Cyndi Lauper, if you could talk about celebrities. Can't believe she's not in. Hey, I saw that. I saw that look you just gave me. Cyndi Lauper absolutely 100% should be in there. The Rock and Wrestling Connection would never have happened without her.
All right, fine.
Give me a break.
With this in mind, the question I have for you is, do we know pretty much the formula is a singles male, a singles female, a faction, a posthumous, and what's the one I'm missing?
Social justice one. This might be the year for Carlos Colon to go in.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Who are you thinking with these two kind of kicking things off?
I have no idea.
No idea. All right.
This could be Sable's year. I think she's more likely than AJ Lee, for example.
Oh yeah. No, AJ's not going in the Hall of Fame right now.
They'll pick someone out of nowhere that we'll all be like, huh? Who? Oh, okay. They always do that. There's always at least one person, at least recently, where we all kind of go, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess. Yeah.
I don't think I did that last year.
Last year was pretty good.
Last year was solid.
Yeah. Last year was pretty solid. But
yeah, I'm trying to think in my head. My gears are turning about who else is going to be in. So I'm absolutely
Melina.
Both of these inductees, the NWO as a faction and its influence, and Bautista for his work in the 2000s, hands down, just absolutely yes and yes. For both
damn
of
it,
them.
Josh Logan just completely nailed it on the head. Bella Twins.
Oh, you will see wrestling Twitter implode on itself if Nikki Bella.
He's totally right. They've already been teasing a return. They're totally going to come back for one little run in the spring and be the female inductees. Josh Logan, 100% correct in the chat. He's totally right. I think they're going in together though, Josh. So
it'll be the Bella Twins getting inducted, not Nikki Bella.
Well, and they might come back later and give it individually to them. Who knows? We'll see. But Nick, that is it for the big news this week. We could discuss that and bitch about it for a lot longer because always a controversial subject, the old Hall of Fame, as is every Hall of Fame ever. Don't get me started on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We'll be here all night.
Don't get me started on the baseball one.
Oh, well, that too.